Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking, you guessed it, graphic novel review. Today's trade is The Immortal Hulk, Volume 1. Or is he both? I am going to give you a quick read-up of the back of the book, as I often do. Horror has a name. You'd never notice the man. He doesn't like to be noticed. He's quiet, calm. If someone were to shoot him in the head, all he'd do is die. Until night falls, and someone else gets up again. The man's name is Banner. The horror is the Immortal Hulk. And trouble has a way of following them both. As reporter Jackie McGee tries to put together the pieces, Banner treads a lonely path from town to town, finding murder, mystery, and tragedy as he goes. And what Banner finds, the Hulk smashes. Elsewhere, the hero called Sasquatch can't help but feel involved in many ways. He's Banner's equal, and his opposite. Sasquatch is about to risk his life by looking for the man and finding the monster. Collecting Immortal Hulk 1 through 5 by Al Ewing, who's a fucking genius, by the way. Joe Bennett, Paul Horschneimer, Marguerite Sauvage, Gary Brown, Rui Jose, and Paul Mounts. Plus material from Avengers 2016, number 684, rated T for teen. But it's pretty horrific. I think teenagers can handle it, though. Yeah, so the Immortal Hulk. So, you know, this is kind of after Bruce Banner and the Hulk come back to life. They were dead for a while, but eventually they did come back. Remember, Hawkeye killed them in Civil War II with a special arrow that Bruce designed and told Hawkeye to use on him if it ever looked like he was going to turn again. But now he's back, and a different Hulk personality is the dominant one than you're used to. The Devil Hulk is the dominant personality, and he is super cruel. He punishes the guilty. He really punishes the guilty. And he and Banner kind of have an agreement. Banner goes about his day uninterrupted by the Hulk, even if he dies. And then at nighttime, he becomes the Hulk and comes back to life. And we see him fight and talk to this gamma irradiated guy who's been killing people. We find out that he irradiated his son with gamma, which killed his son. But when the body was exhumed, the son was still alive, and the Hulk did something absolutely horrible to the father. There's also this reporter running around trying to get the scoop on the Hulk, but she also has a secret history with the Hulk, and she finds out that people perceive the Hulk in many different ways. The Sasquatch is looking for the Hulk because, you know, Sasquatch was created by trying to replicate Bruce Banner's experiment, but he kind of did it in a place where the walls between our world and the spirit world were thin, so he got the Sasquatch instead of a Hulk. He didn't have the dual personality, at least it seems that way for a while, but then he had it and it got, like, taken away. And there's all this stuff with the Green Door, which is something that gamma irradiated people, gamma mutates, keep running into, and it keeps bringing them back to life. Whenever someone with gamma dies, they get brought back to life by this Green Door. Sasquatch goes wild, and there is a twist. It turns out Sasquatch isn't Sasquatch. It's someone from Hulk's past, someone who's been in Hulk's life forever. Really wild stuff, and a lot of cool things about the Green Door. Like, there is a lot going on here. We get to see some Brother Voodoo, which is always really welcome I like Brother Voodoo. I think he's cool. I think he's more interesting than Doctor Strange. I feel like we never see him enough. But that's basically it for the Immortal Hulk Volume 1. You know, I don't want to tell you too much, but it's really good. It's got a lot of, like, grotesque horror stuff, and it just gets worse from there. Like, this book is pretty tame compared to what's coming up. Because what's coming up is, like, full on some of the best body horror I've ever seen. And probably the best body horror I've ever seen in comics. And I've seen some fucked body horror in comics. I just really liked it. I'm glad that Marvel is committed to making the Hulk a monster book again. And I don't know if all of you have noticed, but both Marvel, DC, and kind of the comic industry in general is moving towards monsters and horror. I'm sure you'll notice IDW brought their Godzilla books back, and then DC put out a bunch of deceased stuff. We're about to have that book with Red Hood leading a bunch of zombies on a mission, and like DC versus vampires and all this stuff. And like Marvel's taking its monster characters and kind of putting them at the forefront of everything. Like, for a long time, the Marvel Universe was kind of revolving around Venom. We're getting Carnage book after Carnage book, because we had like Absolute Carnage, and then we had Carnage Red, White, and it's not called Red, White, and Blue. It's Red, White, and something else. I haven't read it yet. And now at the time of recording this, what just started was Extreme Carnage. Like, Marvel is putting everything into symbiotes, and Hulk is having a ton of stuff. And both the Donny Cates Venom run, which is over, and the Al Ewing Immortal Hulk run, which I believe is also over. I read the trades, so it's a little harder for me to tell when its stuff ends. They're both over. I know Venom's over, but I'm pretty sure Immortal Hulk is over, because Al Ewing, who writes Immortal Hulk, is now writing Venom. Interesting. But yeah, Marvel is just giving us monster stuff. And Marvel knows monsters. Their roots are kind of in monsters. And I think that's very, very dope that we're getting all these monster comics. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the superhero fad is starting to wane a little bit. And monsters are getting really popular, and that makes me extremely happy, because monsters are my main thing. So that's it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to review superhero stuff, though. I'm still going to do that forever. So that's it for Immortal Hulk Volume 1. Or is he both? Thank you all very much for the support. If you would like to check out my upcoming book, All Dinosaurs Go to Hell, that will be on my Kindle author page, which you can subscribe to via one of the links in the description below. It should be the first thing in the link tree. So that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time. Hello there, my beautiful YouTube. It is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. I think I'm just going to go straight through the Immortal Hulk stuff. Not sure if I'm going to take a break, but there are 9 volumes out, and we've reviewed one of them. I also reviewed the Absolute Carnage tie-in book, and I still have more Absolute Carnage and Donny Cates Venom stuff to review. I haven't reviewed any King in Black. I reviewed Silver Surfer Black, though. But we'll get to all that. We'll get to all this Marvel monster stuff, because Marvel is investing heavily in monsters, as is DC and the comics industry as a whole. Very excited about it all. But today we are looking at the Immortal Hulk Volume 2, The Green Door. We talked about The Green Door a little bit last time. This time we are really going to get into it. Quick read up at the back of the book. The horror has returned, and now the entire world knows. As Bruce Banner struggles to control the undying monster within, he finds himself hunted by his old friends and allies. To what lengths will the Avengers go to stop a monster of their own making? And the mysterious scientists of Shadowbase have their own plans for Banner, though they may just find horror instead. But there are more sinister forces at work. Something terrible has infected Banner, a dark infection, with unspeakable plans for humanity. The problem is only the Immortal Hulk knows about it. Meanwhile, Carl Crusher Creel was just trying to get out. But now, to save what he built for himself, he must do the impossible. The Absorbing Man must kill the Immortal Hulk. But the Hulk is the one thing standing between the world of the living and the terrors that await on the other side of the Green Door. Collecting Immortal Hulk 6 through 10 by Al Ewing, John Bennett, Lee Garbett, Martin Simmons, Rui Jose, Levieux Underwood, Rafael Frontieres, and Paul Mounts. I don't think I did too bad with the names that time. Last couple of videos I really did poorly with the names, but you know, I'm just looking at the credits on a screen here with my notes and stuff, and they're tiny. I'm not smart. And it's T for teen. There's significant horror, so I think it's appropriate. I think T for teen is the correct rating, but still, it's pretty hardcore. And it gets more hardcore as it goes along. So, we get a lot about Banner's relationship with Hulks, and we get to talk about a lot of different Hulks. Since he'd come back to life, he hasn't been to see his wife, Betty. And she's like, it's just rumor, he can't be alive because he'd come see me if he was. He's not doing that. And we got this organization that's keeping the exhumed Gamma guy captive, and they're basically the continuation of General Ross's work, Thunderbolt Ross. They want to stop the Hulk at all costs. And Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, who's in charge of Alpha Flight, puts together a group called Gamma Flight to take out the Hulk. I'm not sure I think that's in this volume. But yeah, she and the Avengers kind of show up to stop him, along with She-Hulk and Devil Hulk. Dude, he really puts a beating on him. Even Iron Man's in a Hulkbuster, which looks exactly like the one from Age of Ultron. Give us a new Hulkbuster. You don't have to reference the MCU in your comics every chance you get, Marvel. I know you love to do that, but you don't have to. We've seen the movies. We've seen the design before. You know? But yeah, like, he hits Black Panther so hard that the kinetic energy absorber in his suit overloads, and a lot of crazy stuff. And I hear She-Hulk is pretty insane right now, and I really want to read her comics, but there's a lot of that going on. The Avengers destroy an entire town just so they can capture the Hulk. And they give him to these scientists who chop him up and put his body parts in different jars so he can't reform. But of course, eventually he does reform. And it's super grotesque. And Hulk, I'm not going to tell you how he does it. It's a really cool move. I want you need to read it for yourself. But Hulk kills someone. And that's a first. Hulk crosses the line and kills. And then we get some horrible body horror. Like, the Bruce Banner to Hulk and Hulk to Bruce Banner transformations now are just top tier body horror. They are so disgusting and gross. They are nasty. But basically, the Absorbing Man is tasked with defeating the Hulk, even though he's literally never been able to do it before. But they basically have the Absorbing Man absorb what they used to turn General Ross into the Red Hulk, and Absorbing Man becomes a Red Hulk, which is awesome. Red Hulks were kind of always my favorite. They had a bit more of a weakness than the original Hulk, which makes them a bit more interesting, gives them more odds to overcome, you know. But it kind of allows the Green Door to get to him and stuff to possess him and just rip him apart. It's absolutely wild. There's so much stuff going on. And he was about to beat the Hulk too. That's the crazy part. Before the Green Door stepped in and just fucked it all up. You know? It's pretty crazy. And it kind of ends with them all in hell. The place below or something. They all go to hell. Buy my book, All Dinosaurs Go to Hell. I'm not reviewing these because of the hell stuff and the connection to my book, but I did that with the Godzilla book, though. But that's just a happy coincidence. But that is it for The Immortal Hulk Volume 2, The Green Door. pretty kick-ass book. It's really good. Immortal Hulk is one of the best books Marvel has had in a very, very long time. And I highly recommend you read it. All the single issues are out. Not all the trades. I think there might be one more trade left to come. Maybe 2. But there's 9 out at the time of recording this. Next time we get to see more of Hulk in Hell. In fact, that's the name of the volume. So I'll see you all then. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you next time with more Immortal Hulk. Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3 back with another kicking, you guessed it, graphic novel review. Today's trade is The Immortal Hulk, Volume 3, Hulk in Hell. I swear this is a coincidence. It wasn't with the Godzilla book. I reviewed that because it tied into the book I'm writing. But I am working on a book right now. It'll be the 3rd book I release as a Kindle ebook. It is called All Dinosaurs Go to Hell. It is about a dinosaur who is just trying to make his own in a world designed to torture him. And it's about just what he's trying to do, you know, in hell. It's probably the best thing I've ever written. Story-wise, I really like it. I'm very happy with it so far. And it will be out soon. I have an editor lined up to look at it for me. I had a cover art professionally made, which I finished today. Not the day I'm recording this, not the day this is going up. This is going up far after that. But it's coming along very well. So if you want to know when that book comes out, well, for one thing, subscribe to the channel. And also, definitely follow my Amazon author page. You can find a link to that in the link tree in the description below. So let's get into this volume of Immortal Hulk, shall we? Let's read the back here. We are all in hell, even the Immortal Hulk. The green door is completely open, and hell has ascended in New Mexico. Now the ruler of hell has come to collect. It whispers through many mouths. It destroys with many hands. Its only weapon is hate. It wears human souls like masks to work its will. But in the lowest hell, underneath all others, all the masks come off, and the one below all is finally revealed. Bruce Banner belongs to him, but the Hulk, not even hell, is strong enough to stop his horrific anger. Meanwhile, in the world above, 2 familiar faces resurface. Betty Banner and Doc Samson. What will their returns mean for the Immortal Hulk? Collecting Immortal Hulk 11 through 15 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Kyle Hotz, Eric Nugent, Rui Jose, Bill Lenardio Barbero, Rafael Fortinierez, and Paul Mountis, rated T14. Pretty cool book. This one's a little poetic, actually. Everyone gets trapped in hell. You know, our reporter friend, Hulk, they're both in hell. And they see, like, Rick Jones down there. There's a lot of, like, black and white images to go along with it. Absorbing Man, Puck, they're both in hell. Puck's really cool. I'm loving him in Immortal Hulk. I really, really am. We see General Thunderbolt Ross down there, who has a really sick, hellish Red Hulk transformation. Can't wait for that Marvel Legends composite Hulk, by the way. I'm going to be really happy to get that. But yeah, Hulk's really kicking some ass down in hell, and we get a lot about his father. I intentionally did not mention this in the last 2 books because I don't want to spoil everything for all of you. I want you to be able to read it and still enjoy it just as much as I did. But his dad is kind of one of the main villains for like a while. It's just his dad is in hell and working with the One Below All, which is like this giant gamma cloud creature, and he's trying to bring it to the mortal world. And that's like the whole thing. That's the whole thing. It's pretty wicked and it's pretty wild. There's a lot of fighting in hell. We could see a hellish A-bomb, which was absolutely just fucked. I know I shouldn't say fucked on YouTube because it'll, destroy my remonetization chances, but it's hard to think of other words to describe this in. And when they get out, Bruce finally calls Betty up and etc. We see a lot of stuff from Betty's point of view. They reunite, and she gets killed by a sniper. Luckily, she comes back as kind of a new Red She-Hulk called Harpy. We get a lot of Doc Samson running around doing stuff. He's trying to help the Hulk. He doesn't really know how to talk to Devil Hulk. Devil Hulk's kind of manipulating everybody. It's pretty sick, actually. And Samson's supposed to be dead, also. But that's really it for the Immortal Hulk Volume 3 Hulk in Hell. Just trying to keep it short, because once again, I don't want to spoil the whole thing for you. There's a lot in there that you can read for yourself. A lot of good information, a lot of the real emotional stuff. And the art's just damn fantastic. It really is. Next time we will almost certainly be reviewing the Immortal Hulk Volume 4 Abomination. Abomination's pretty sick in this run of Hulk. You definitely gotta check it out. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links down in my link tree, including my Amazon author page. Also subscribe here because I will be posting updates about all my books and etc. Books are kind of my main thing right now because I could never really get a lot of my visions onto film well. So I've transitioned to just books. I think that'll really help me get more of my stories out there. That's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time. Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. The last trade we reviewed was the Immortal Hulk Volume 3, and I did promise that the next one would be the Immortal Hulk Volume 4 Abomination. Yeah, really love the Immortal Hulk. I cannot wait to get the next trade. I'm going to give you a quick read-up of the back of the book here. Rick Jones is dead and gone. In another life, Rick was the Hulk's best friend. He was there on the fateful day the Hulk was born. When the Hulk was a mindless brute, Rick was the only one who believed in him. But now his body has been exhumed and stolen, and the Immortal Hulk wants to know why. To find the answers he seeks, Bruce Banner will have to face roaming gamma experiments and a ruthless assassin out for his blood. And when the Immortal Hulk is depowered, it may be time for the return of Joe Fixit. The fan favorite run that's redefining the Hulk mythos gets even more intense as a pair of dead loved ones turn nightmarish foes hunt Banner, setting the stage for a brutal three-way confrontation between the Abomination, the Harpy, and the Hulk. Collecting Immortal Hulk 16 through 20 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Ruby Jose, Billardino Bravo, Mark Deering, Paul Mounts, and Rachel Rosenberg, rated T for Teen from Marvel Comics. Sorry if I butchered any names there. But yeah, the Immortal Hulk, Volume 4, Abomination. I love it. I love that the Hulk is a monster book again. I love that it's a horror book. If you go back to some of my older videos, you can hear me talk about how I don't like the Hulk. Like, the Hulk just, I feel like, doesn't always work as a superhero. He's meant to be a monster, but they try to force him to do the superhero thing. He's a monster. Let him be a monster, you know? We get some stuff about, like, Rick Jones' corpse being stolen, and a little bit about our news reporter as well. We have Hulk and Samson have to fight all these, like, hulked out animals, which is pretty dope. Like, it was really cool. And then, Harpy is running around because, Betty Ross, I almost said Betty Brant, that would have been very wrong. Betty Ross is Harpy, which is kind of like a new Red She-Hulk, but not Red She-Hulk. She can fly, has talons, it's pretty cool. And there's like all these UV things that kind of make the Hulk turn back into Bruce Banner, but Joe Fixit takes control of the mind. Joe Fixit, kind of like the gangster Grey Hulk. Pretty cool. Very cool. There are also these little gamma bugs that look exactly like... They're the Starship Trooper bugs. Just straight up, it's a Starship Trooper, like, little Easter egg. But he has to fight that cyborg that, shot Betty in the head. Joe's running around being very clever. Very, very clever. I love all the body horror in this, too. Like, just some horrific, horrific body horror. Including the Abomination itself. There's a new Abomination in town, and he is fucked. From the neck down, it kind of just looks like regular Abomination. But the head is like two clawed hands that are closed. And then when the clawed hands open, it's fucking Rick Jones' head split in two. Each one is like partially regenerated. Like, just some disgusting body horror. And the Hulk, because it's Devil Hulk fighting him, doesn't really know what to do. Because it's like Rick Jones is in there. And the Abomination has this like dope acid power now that like can destroy Hulk's limbs and makes it hard for him to regenerate. Betty also becomes a killer. When she's Harpy, she just kills some soldiers that were going to wipe out civilians for like a no witness type thing. Really wild. So she gets in on the fight. Not going to tell you exactly what happens, but we get to see more stuff in hell with all the gamma shit that goes on in hell. It's some dope fights. Really, really good fights. Lots of really horrific stuff. You can see Doc Samson a little bit more in Gamma Flight, And we kind of get this sort of flash forward to the end of the universe. And we see Bruce Banner withered standing at the end of the universe as the last living being. And we'll see more of that later. But yeah, that's kind of what goes on story-wise. I left out a lot because I don't want, to spoil everything for you guys. I want you to still be able to enjoy the book. It's fantastic. The art is incredible, very gruesome, and they really get those emotions across, which is very important. The writing is just damn incredible. No wonder they gave Ewing the Venom book. At least that's what I heard. I haven't read any of his Venom. But Immortal Hulk is fantastic. I love how Marvel and DC are both kind of trying to move into monster books. And Marvel, I feel like, is doing much better at that than DC, because Marvel kind of has a monster history, which really helps out. They have a lot of like monsters in their backlog they can pull from, and plenty new ones they can make as well. And God, they're just doing such a damn good job. The Donny Cates Venom was some great monster material, and this... God, Immortal Hulk is just so great. But that is it for the Immortal Hulk Volume 4 Abomination. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I might just continue to do Immortal Hulks until they're done. I honestly don't know. We're just going to have to see. We're just going to have to see. So that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you next time. Hello there, YouTube. It is your boy B3. Back with another kicking, you guessed it, graphic novel review. Today's trade paperback is The Immortal Hulk, Volume 5, Breaker of Worlds. Let me give you a quick read-up of the back of the book. The horrific, critically acclaimed saga of the Immortal Hulk continues. General Fortean, who's kind of like the successor to General Ross, has been pursuing his undying foe for some time without success, and now he must make a fateful decision. There can be no more half measures. No weapon is off the table. This is a war without rules, and Fortean's Shadow Base is going to win, even if it means creating a new abomination. But the Immortal Hulk has plans of his own, and now he also has allies. Newly resurrected Rick Jones remembers everything, and you wouldn't like him when he's angry. The war with Shadow Base comes to a brutal and bloody end as Bruce Banner makes a choice that will affect the entire planet. Then, billions of years in the future, the Ninth Cosmos cowers before the Breaker of Worlds. Collecting Immortal Hulk 21 through 25 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Ryan Bodenheim, Germán Garcia, Ruby Jose, they're tiny, and I'm not used to these names. I very much apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. That is all on me. Bellardino Bravo, Mark Deering, Roberto Paggi, Paul Mounts, and Chris O'Halloran. Rated T for T from Marvel Comics. First off, I just want to say I love how committed both Marvel and kind of DC seem to be towards monsters, because the superhero boom is, well, it ain't booming as much anymore. People are getting tired of it. And as I predicted, monsters are next. Monsters are big. Everyone loves monsters. So, we get to see General Fortean, teleport and do all this fighting. We get a lot of backstory on him in this one, and he kind of just takes out Gamma Flight. But yeah, we get a lot of good backstory with him. And it turns out his backstory is actually connected to our reporter friend, which is very interesting. He kills himself some people. He kills Sasquatch, which is pretty wild, And he then becomes the new Abomination. Like, the Abomination is kind of a suit now, and it, bonds with people. It bonded with Rick Jones' corpse, and now it's bonded with the man obsessed with hunting the Hulk. It was pretty cool, but they kind of ran into a problem because, Sasquatch isn't coming back to life like Gamma Mutates have been in the past, and also Betty refuses to talk to Bruce unless she's in her harpy form because she's mad at him, and for good reason, to be completely honest. But she'll talk to Joe as Betty. She'll talk to Joe, and she's kind of calling Harpy her true self, and Betty is the alternate form, which is a little oof. Rick Jones, comes back to life, has got his gamma stuff coursing through him, and they all teleport down to fight Shadow Base, and it doesn't quite work out for them, but it doesn't quite work out for Shadow Base either. There's quite a lot of fighting. Gamma Flight shows up to kick some ass, Our scientist, who's kind of not really been behind what Shadow Base was doing in the first place, she kind of switches sides to the Hulk, which is good. I actually really like her. She's pretty cool. And we get a little backstory on Galactus, because remember, Galactus, last surviving being of his universe, was given great power because of that, which will be relevant. Hulk fights yet another new abomination. All these people die, go to hell, see all the crazy gamma stuff. Hulk, the Devil Hulk specifically, takes over Shadow Base, and we see this future where, the Devil Hulk in Bruce's body devours something in the future, the far, far, far future, and it is absolutely horrific. One of the most horrific things I've seen in comics. It's like this horror on a cosmic scale. You gotta check this book out. I'm serious. And then we have this kind of beautiful other cosmic flash forward in the next issue, which is these beings that operate in a completely different way than humans are kind of preparing and trying to stop this gigantic Galactus-sized, actually far, far larger than Galactus Hulk this giant cosmic Hulk that can swat planets out of his way from just destroying their world. He just travels across the cosmos and destroys all of existence in the future. This horrible, horrific, cosmic body horror monster. It's insane. We get the return of the leader at the end of that, and and I'm a big leader fan, actually, so I'm very happy to see that. But that's it for Volume 5. I know I didn't go into heavy specifics, but that's because y'all just have to get through this yourself. You have to read The Immortal Hulk, and Volume 5 is one of my all-time favorites. It is incredible. So definitely check out The Immortal Hulk Volume 5. The art is great. It shows a lot of emotion. The writing is truly horrific, and it really makes you think about stuff. It's an incredible book. And I need more. I need more. So, yeah, that's it. Next time I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump into Volume 6. But until then, have a good one. Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we are reviewing The Immortal Hulk Volume 6, We Believe in Bruce Banner. Pretty cool stuff. A lot of political commentary in this one, so if you aren't into kind of political statements in your art, one, that's what art is for. So good luck. And two, this one might not be for you, but the political message might surprise you also. And it's a really good book. It really is. It's got a dope villain too. So, quick read up at the back of the book. Bruce Banner is just getting started. He has an underground fortress. He has powerful allies. He's even got henchmen. He's got everything he needs to declare total war on human society. Bruce Banner is the most dangerous man in the world. Now the Immortal Hulk is taking the fight to Earth's lords and masters, the Roxxon Corporation. Ooh, they're like a big corporate entity that does a lot of bad shit. They were in War of the Realms, which I reviewed. But when you mess with the Minotaur, you get the horns. Meanwhile, who are the members of the new Teen Brigade? And what role will they play in the Immortal Hulk's newest scheme? Plus, years ago, the first Gamma Bomb unleashed a terrifying creature with impossible strength who raged against the world. The authorities gave the beast a name the whole world knows. But it was someone else's name first. And now the Hulk that was has returned to take that name back. And you're looking at him on the screen right now, actually. Collecting Immortal Hulk 26 through 30 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Tom Riley, Matas Brigada, Rui Jose, Bildarno Bravo, Mark Deering, Sean Parsons, Cam Smith, Paul Mounts, and Chris O'Halloran. Rated T for Teen from Marvel Comics. Pretty good book. I really enjoyed it. So let's talk about this. So Bruce Banner kind of sends out a message to the world that he wants to destroy humanity, and he's being very heavily influenced by the Devil Hulk, by the way. He's saying he wants to destroy humanity, but when he says that, he doesn't mean he wants to wipe humans off the face of the earth. What he means is, hey, I want to destroy what we currently call humanity, build a world that's completely different, where humans are completely new and they aren't destroying the world and all this stuff, you know? But does he really mean that? Maybe we'll have to find out. He has a conversation with Amadeus Cho, the totally awesome Hulk, who I liked in Champions, but by himself I wasn't really a big fan of him. I only read a couple issues of his book, but I couldn't really get into him as the Hulk. I liked the Champions team, but, you know, that's that. But they have this big philosophical discussion, and it's very interesting, and we see a lot of political stuff happening throughout the book. We see that Namor appears to be working with the Hulk, maybe? Because he also kind of wants to get rid of this human world that's polluting his oceans and whatnot. And we see the CEO of the Roxxon Corporation, who is a Minotaur. He used to hide his Minotaur form, but now he's just out in the open about it. He betrayed the entire realm, the entire dimension in the War of the Realms, and it seems like there were no consequences for him. Now he's just running the company. It's like this, commentary on how big corporations basically own the government, and there's never really any consequences for them. And he's talking to his board of directors about all this stuff and etc. Like the numbers released to the public about how long climate change will take to destroy the planet are actually fake. They have the real numbers, and it's like within the lifetimes of everyone in the boardroom, and one of them's like scared because his grandchildren are going to die, but the Minotaur doesn't care because, if the world dies, he can just go to another realm. He doesn't care. Just like the owners of all these big corporations and oil, etc., don't care about destroying the planet here because they're going to be dead when climate change, destroys the planet, and they won't fucking give a shit because everyone will be dead, and they only care about themselves, right? So, Hulk goes to Roxxon, busts up their servers. It completely destroys all of Roxxon's websites, all their social media, so they can't, feed people fake news articles and stuff anymore, which is really insane. And we kind of get the story of this guy. He's like a far-right traditional guy, and his daughter's like a far-left, protester. And they kind of have these horrible feelings towards each other, and he's a security guard at Roxxon, and she's protesting Roxxon, and there's a point where he recognizes his daughter in a crowd of protesters and tries to shoot his own daughter because Roxxon has convinced him that it's the right thing to do. Just like all this QAnon bullshit and etc. is creating all these, Capitol stormers and etc. I know I'm getting political here, but that's what the book's about, And then the Hulk shows up, and there are all these, protesters for big change rallying behind the Hulk. But here's the thing. The Hulk also has secret plans for the planet. The Hulk is using the protesters as a weapon against Roxxon because they're in his way, not because it's the right thing to do. Right? So I almost feel like the message in this book isn't, right, bad, left, good. It's, hey, everyone in power, no matter what side they are on, they are corrupt. And they are using you. They are using you to get their way, whether you are on the left or on the right. The people in power, the people with authority, they are manipulating you in some way, shape, or form, no matter what side you're on. And that's kind of not something you see a lot, Most media picks a side, and you don't really kind of see this, you're being manipulated by everyone. Just fuck them all mentality as much. Is his arm getting lower? Is his arm lowering over there? It doesn't really matter. A lot of you are probably mostly just listening to this anyways. But yeah, there's a fuck ton going down here. And the Minotaur actually goes to get this guy off of an island. This is Zimnu. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his name. The version of him you're looking at is more of a classic version. He has a very slight redesign in this book. But there's actually a bunch of kaiju that Roxxon has made that are released onto cities. There's one that looks a lot like King Ghidorah. There's one that's very Ghidorah-esque, and its name is Harryhausen, obviously named after the late, great Ray Harryhausen, one of the biggest inspirations in my life, and my favorite animator of all time. Another one's called O'Brien, obviously referencing Willis O'Brien. the animator who did The Lost World, King Kong, and worked with Ray Harryhausen on Mighty Joe Young, etc. And then we get another, and that one's kind of like a two-headed giant, I think, or something like that. It might not have two heads. Maybe it's four arms. And then there's like kind of a squid one, which is called Lovecraft, obviously after H.P. Lovecraft, even though all his books were like metaphors for why you shouldn't like other races, which is pretty fucked, but his monsters look cool. And then you have Bradbury, which is another monster, kind of a big one that like throws up molten rock, big blue creature. Very cool, and named after one of my favorite writers of all time, and lifelong best friend of Ray Harryhausen. Yeah. So all those attack targets that are critical of Roxxon, or competitors of Roxxon, things like that. And the Hulk kind of goes to fight them. And he kind of reverts from Devil Hulk back to the big guy, which is kind of the more me smash kind of Hulk, the Hulk smash, the one that talks like a child or caveman, very simplistic, quick to anger. And Rick Jones shows up with new gamma powers. They aren't the A-bomb powers, they're different, more like even energy manipulation, flight, that kind of thing. Alpha flight, sorry, gamma flight, I keep doing that, is helping fight them, and the monsters do eventually get defeated, of course. And all these parasites come out of one of them, like it's full of smaller monsters, and then Zimnu here, or however you pronounce his name, Zimu, shows up and kind of captures all the parasites, and the Hulk sees him, and he's like, Zimu's here like, I'm here to save all of you from these monsters. And, yeah. Is he, though? We'll have to see. We will have to see. But that is it for that volume of Immortal Hulk. I think I'm just going to jump into 7 next time. Just go ahead and get all the Immortal Hulks out of the way. Why not, right? Just go ahead and get them all out of the way. I'll have some more like novel and book reviews coming, as well as a few more action figure reviews, and some Safari Sams in the future, hopefully, as well. And if you want to check out my books that I have written, you can check out my Kindle Amazon author page, which is in our link tree in the description below, as well as several other things. So that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time. Hello there, YouTube. It is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we are reviewing The Immortal Hulk, Volume 7, Hulk is Hulk. It's a very fun trade paperback. I highly recommend every single Immortal Hulk book, whether you read single issues or trades, I don't care. You 100% have to read Immortal Hulk. I love how Marvel and Al Ewing have taken the Hulk, and after all these decades of trying to force him to be a superhero, are finally just letting him be a monster again, and letting the Hulk comic be a horror comic full of body horror and cosmic dread. Gotta love it. So, there's a new monster in town. He's cuddly, he's lovable, he's down with the kids, and he's available for your corporate retreat. Yes, there was another Hulk once, the one who made all those nasty threats about ending the world. But who needs him? The living Hulk is here. You might know him as Zimnu. Oh yeah, I think I actually pronounced it correctly that time. And he's going to save us all, or your money back. But who will triumph when Zimnu battles Robert Bruce Banner, the strangest man of all time? Plus, as events grow even stranger, the thoughtful man arrives, and his dreadful thoughts are vast and dark enough to swallow even the devil. And when the war with the Minotaur finally ends, a grateful humanity will know who saved them all. Can there be a happy ending for the Immortal Hulk? Collecting Immortal Hulk numbers 31 through 35 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Javier Rodriguez, Nick Patara, Butch Guice, Mike Hawthorne, Rui Jose, Bernardo Bravo, Cam Smith, Alvaro Lopez, Mark Deering, Mark Morales, Tom Palmer, and Paul Mounts. Sorry if I mispronounced any names, I'm kinda dumb. and it is from Marvel. And it doesn't have a rating on the back like my others do. My others have a T for teen on the back. This one doesn't have anything, which is very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Ximnu shows up, being a boy. We also get a backstory on our scientist. She's a trans woman, and I never thought about it, but a Hulk comic is a pretty good place to tell a trans story. It really is. Obviously, trans people aren't monsters. I've known many trans people, dated trans people. They are valid, they are wonderful. Science is 100% behind them. I don't want any transphobic shit in the comments, alright? So we kind of get her backstory involving Daredevil, because, she was out of work for being trans. Like, I actually had a teacher who was trans who was fired once. And she was kind of using her scientific know-how to make like hormones and stuff, but she got in with the wrong people, and a lot went wrong. So Ximnu shows up. Hulk fights him because it's more of the childlike Hulk. It doesn't work out well. Hulk hurts him, and it causes him to release the it causes him to release the monsters, which then fall everywhere. So then Gamma Flight is forced to attack the Hulk. And I'm loving Absorbing Man in these, by the way, because Gamma Flight's teaching him new ways to absorb things, which is super dope. So he's like way smarter and more clever with it now. It's pretty dope. But then Ximnu, I can't get this name. So his powers are basically the Mandela effect and gaslighting. This book might actually be pretty triggering for people who have been in emotionally abusive relationships and whatnot. But he kind of like convinces the whole world that he used to be on a kid's TV show, and they all grew up watching it, and they all remember it, but they can't recall any specifics, and they remember him being a big hero, and he makes them all think that the Hulk is, the biggest villain in the world, and that Roxxon is great. And then Ximnu is like eating Roxxon employees, and the Minotaur is just letting him, and the Minotaur is like, yeah, I'm magic. Ximnu's powers don't affect me, and all this stuff, but his powers affect Bruce Banner, and they're changing Bruce's mind, and all this stuff, and, our doctor friend, she, is trans, so she's used to people kind of, telling her she's thinks a way that she doesn't, telling her she's different than she actually is. And so she kind of reveals what's happening to Doc Samson, and he's like, ah, crap, and they go to try to stop Bruce, and all this crazy stuff is going on. We see, like, the Planet Hulk personality in Bruce's mind, which is a Hulk that kind of wants to be more heroic, come to another Hulk, and everything is really fucked. Like, a lot of fucked shit happens. We see the death of Bruce's father, and, like, Bruce's mindscape, and the Devil Hulk is all chained up inside. Something has chained up the Devil Hulk again. Joe Fixit can't access his Hulk powers, just his personality, which is pretty wild. A lot of crazy shit is going down with the Hulks, and there's a lot of fighting that ensues when they go to Roxxon. And then there's like this big twist with Ximnu. He's kind of doing stuff that the Minotaur didn't want. So, Roxxon's evil ways come back to bite them. The Hulk fights the OG Hulk, And then there's this big reveal that Rick Jones, he's not Rick Jones. Spoilers. He's the leader. The leader's piloting Rick Jones' body. Rick Jones is, I guess, still dead? and the leaders fucking around and finding out. Kind of get a recap on the leader's, comic history real quick, which was very good because, I really enjoyed it. And about him, trying to figure out what all this, hell has to do with gamma radiation, and he begins working with Bruce Banner's evil dad. Lots is still going on in the mindscape of Hulk and Bruce Banner, of course. Harpy kind of bounces. And the Hulk is now a public hero because he saved everyone from Roxxon, and he's trying to do good and help rebuild places that he's smashed. But then Rick Jones touches him, and the leader is in control of Rick Jones, sends a gamma surge into the Hulk, which creates a huge, huge gamma explosion. And then that's where the volume ends. That is where it ends, right there. Pretty awesome. I love this book so much. The Hulk, Bruce Banner, none of the personalities up there can catch a break. The Devil Hulk is just so cool. Just so cool. You gotta love the Immortal Hulk. It's a great comic, and everyone should give it a shot. As long as, all the gaslighting and kind of stuff, as long as that's not gonna, trigger you or anything, you should be fine. But that's it for today's volume. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. At the time of recording this, there are 2 more volumes, 2 more trades of Immortal Hulk that have been released that I have not reviewed, 8 and 9, and we'll get to those shortly. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you all next time. Hello everyone, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today's trade is The Immortal Hulk Volume 8, The Keeper of the Door. Let me give you a quick read-up of the back of the book before I go into it. Follow the leader. The Hulk's arch-enemy has set his sights on inflating the Green Behemoth's friend group in preparation to enact his nefarious, long-fomenting plans. But can the leader push the Immortal Hulk beyond his breaking point? Meanwhile, when Bruce Banner first came to Shadow Base, he was cut up into pieces and stored in jars. But he was only the second test subject. The first subject has just been freed. Plus, some time ago, an outside force entered Bruce Banner's system. The Devil Hulk says it's the Green Scar. The Green Scar says it's the Devil Hulk. They might both be wrong, but now, deep in Banner's mind, something is reaching through the green door, and it wants to hurt Banner bad, and the Devil Hulk takes that personally. Yeah, you hurt Banner, or, the more childlike Hulk, the big guy, the Devil Hulk will fuck you up. And just FYI, the Green Scar is kind of like the Planet Hulk, World War Hulk one. Yeah, and it collects Immortal Hulk issues 36 through 40 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Rui Jose, Villardino Bravo, Paul Mounts, and Matt Milla from Marvel. Yay! So, let's get into it, shall we? A lot of shit's going down. The Hulk causes a big gamma explosion. Rick Jones seems to be able to shield a few people from it, even though if you watched the last review, Rick Jones is the one that caused it, because he's not Rick Jones. He is the leader piloting Rick Jones' gamma mutate body. And he's, trying to really fuck up everything the Hulk does. Gamma Flight shows up to take the Hulk down, and our reporter is like, no, don't do that. The Hulk didn't do it on purpose. Gamma Flight doesn't give a shit. No one ever listens. Radioactive Man does some dope shit. You guys, I love what they're doing with Radioactive Man in this book. I really do. And then, that gamma mutate, the guy's son who died, and he, because he was using gamma to, cure his illness, but the gamma eventually killed him, and he was resurrected, and they dug him up, back in Volume 1. They've been trying to cure him, but, yeah, he kind of gets consciousness and starts fucking around and finding out. And it turns out the leader is in control of him too. So the leader is in hell, piloting Rick Jones and this other gamma mutate. Oof. That's not great. We get more flashbacks to Bruce's abusive father, because Bruce was reading Paradise Lost like when it was way above his reading level, and his dad was like insecure of Bruce's intelligence, and thought Bruce would grow up to be a monster, and etc., etc. And in Paradise Lost, the image of the serpent is the Rhedosaurus from the Beast of 20,000 Fathoms. Yeah, I posted that on Twitter a while back, where I was like, why is the serpent in Paradise Lost in Immortal Hulk the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms? Because it's a monster book, and Al Ewing knows what we monster fans want. That's actually not just a Ray Harryhausen reference, but also a Ray Bradbury reference, which the last 2 volumes ago had the references to those creators as well, those monster creators. So Devil Hulk is locked up real fucking tight in Bruce's mind right now. And yeah, it turns out that the Green Scar is also the leader, putting his consciousness in there. So the leader's mind is in like 4 places right now, but that's the leader's whole thing. Like, he's as smart as the Hulk is strong, you know? That's his whole deal. Which is cool. But then the Devil Hulk, finally comes to fight the leader in Bruce's mindscape. The leader like fuses with Bruce's dad to make one being in this horrific mind-eating fucking scene. It's awful. The Devil Hulk just really fucks shit up. This is a horrific book. Just some insane body horror, and a lot of this is just happening in the Hulk's mind, because he's been heavily depowered and he's being held by Gamma Flight, and there's just this horrific image of like Bruce torn apart, no eyes, controlled by the leader over the Devil Hulk's corpse. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And then Doc Samson, who died, comes back to life, but not in his own body. He comes back to life in Sasquatch's body, so now he's like a green version of Sasquatch. And Joe Fixit figures out a way to get out of Hulk's restraints. And without Hulk powers, Joe Fixit, just in Bruce's body, finds a way to escape Gamma Flight. And then when they crash back down to Earth, the Thing, who I've grown to love a lot in recent years. I'm not a Fantastic Four fan. I'm just not. But I adore the Thing. I love him. He's come a long way as a character, I think he's fantastic. He gets together with, and he kind of intercepts the Hulk, because they calculated where the Hulk would land. The Thing intercepts him, and that's where Volume 8 ends. It's really good, and Volume 9 is really good as well. Volume 9 is a little infamous. We'll talk about why when we get there. Many of you might already know. It was kind of big news in the comic book community when it happened, but we'll get there. So that's it for today's review. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. I'm actually pretty thirsty and hungry, so I might take a break, and then I'll see you very soon. Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today, we're ending Immortal Hulk. It's not the end of the Immortal Hulk run by Al Ewing. It's simply the end of the trade collections that are currently out. And that ends with the Immortal Hulk Volume 9, the weakest one there is. You will feel so bad for the Hulk by the end of this book. Oh my god. Let me give you a quick read-up of the back real quick, though. It's the rematch everybody wanted. But not like this. The Hulk is broken, friendless, and hunted. A shadow of his former self. But there's nothing like the real Thing. What will happen when Ben Grimm enters the world of the Immortal Hulk? As the year comes to an end, costs are counted by Jackie McGee, Eugene Judd, and Samuel Stearns. All the leaders' plans have come together in what may be his greatest triumph. But will that be enough? Or will the horrific One Below All still claim his due? Plus the UFOs are here, and they know how to finally kill the Immortal Hulk. The new Sasquatch faces something even weirder than himself. Henry Peter Grinch watches from somewhere far above the world. And with the Hulk's strength gone, what hope is left for the weakest there is? Collecting Immortal Hulk, number 41 through 45 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Alex Linz, Adam Gorham, Rachel Stott, Rui Jose, Millardino, Bravo, Paul Mounts, and Chris O'Halloran. As always, I apologize for any mispronounced names. And of course, it's from Marvel. Glad Marvel's focusing a lot on monsters. Marvel has a very rich history with monsters, so I'm glad that they're letting Hulk be a monster and horror book instead of trying to force him into the role of superhero. Makes me happy. But yeah, there's a lot to cover in this. The Thing's fighting Hulk, and Hulk is like not even putting up a fight. He's real scrawny, lots of flabby skin from when he used to be muscular. The Thing's kind of just throwing him around, feeling bad for him. Also, the Immortal Hulk in the Fantastic Four book was actually possessed by the Puppet Master, because Ben Grimm, the Thing, married Puppet Master's like daughter or something. So there was a big fight. I hear it was a really good issue. I haven't read it, but I would like to. But yeah, Hulk like begs Thing to stop hitting him, because it turns out Hulk doesn't want to fight, like ever. He doesn't want to fight, which makes sense. He's like afraid of the Thing. The Thing, punches him. Joe Fixit takes over, and then Joe and the Thing go to have like hot dogs together, but there's like a perimeter cleared because of the Hulk, and they talk about like faith and belief and all this stuff, and it's very interesting. This kind of leader Rick Jones monster kind of crawls out of hell, which is pretty wild. Got a lot of stuff with Alpha Flight and our reporter friend, who, as it turns out, is a gamma mutate, and she has been for a while. She can kind of use her gamma powers to see spirits, like gamma spirits throughout the world, and track gamma stuff. She just has this crazy gamma vision, which is really cool. And then there's all this leader body horror hell stuff. He finally becomes the vessel of the One Below All. And then like the UFOs kind of almost become the new Gamma Flight. Like they're hired by the government. And the UFOs I've always thought were kind of cool, but usually when I see them, they just kind of get smacked around by the Hulk, and they don't usually end up doing that much, but they've been taught to use their powers in new ways, and they've been genetically enhanced by the government, and etc. And we also kind of get all this stuff about how Joe Fixit survives, like how he runs scams and etc. And it is pretty interesting to watch, but this is the infamous Immortal Hulk issue that had the anti-Semitic joke on the window. Like the window to the shop had like the Star of David, and instead of saying jewelry, it said Jewery. And like, okay, so the people on the book said it was a mistake. I don't know if that was in the script. I don't know if one of the artists did that, or if Al Ewing had that put in. I don't know. I don't know any of them, but they said it was a mistake. There is no way in hell that was a mistake. No way in hell. It just wasn't. Like, if it just said jewelry, then I would have just been like, oh, they accidentally misspelled jewelry on the art because they were writing it backwards, and that's difficult, so it was just a mistake. And if it just had the Star of David on the window, a lot of people might not even have noticed. Still would have maybe been a little anti-Semitic because, there's that stereotype with, Jewish people and, But the Star of David and Jewelry, that was 100% intentional. I hope Marvel found out who was behind that and there were some real consequences, which I doubt. I'm sure there were no consequences at all. But, it is removed from the trade, and they did reprint that issue without it. But yeah, now it just kind of looks like a gray store window. You can't see outside of it. It's, tinted. And that's that. That's that. So, our friendlier Gamma people are running around trying to find the Hulk before the government does. And then we see some kind of, police brutality on a guy who's wearing Hulk colors because, Hulk saved them from Zimnu and stuff and said he wanted to change the world for the better. And so the police assault a guy just for peacefully walking down the street but wearing Hulk colors. He wasn't doing anything at all. And they attack him, and Joe Fixit's like, I don't want to get involved, but then he does. And the big guy comes out, and as soon as the big guy comes out, Alpha Flight picks up on the Gamma signal. Gamma Flight picks up on the Gamma signature. They send in the UFOs, who really kick his butt because he's all depowered. But then Joe Fixit kind of gets his groove back in a way. There's a lot going on here, okay? Because we kind of get to see Harpy kind of return, and there's still all the fucked leader mindscape stuff happening. Bruce Banner isn't even in the body anymore. The Devil Hulk was killed. All this crazy stuff is going on. It's absolutely insane. It's abso-fucking-lutely insane. And then Sasquatch comes back to life in Samson's body, so they're body swapped, but not really, because their looks have changed to kind of adapt to each other, and it's not like the kind of more cliche one. But yeah, Joe Fixit finally gets Hulk powers back, and he's a Red Hulk in the Mindscape, which is really cool because I'm a big Red Hulk guy. And then in the physical world, he's a Green Hulk with glowing red eyes and glowing red veins, which looks so goddamn cool. Fuck, he's cool. And that's kind of just where it ends, with Joe Fixit in his new form about to beat the ever-loving shit out of the UFOs. Oh, I cannot wait. It's going to be dope. It's going to be absolutely dope. Can't wait for Volume 10. Marvel, please, I need it ASAP. Absolutely ASAP. I want to read all the stuff. I want to read the Immortal She-Hulk one-shot. I want to read the one-shot about the prehistoric Immortal Hulk, and I want to read the Gamma Flight miniseries as well. Everything to do with the Immortal Hulk, I want it. I think I'm even going to pick up the Fantastic Four volume where the Thing and the Immortal Hulk fight. Just for that issue, really. But also I just love the Thing, But yeah, that's it. So that's all the Immortal Hulk comics that are out at the time of recording this. So, yeah, I have several other things I need to review. I still got a bunch of Absolute Carnage stuff that needs to be reviewed. And that's probably what I'll get to next. And I'm starting to read Empire stuff as well. I was reading it on my lunch break yesterday. And if you would like to check out my books that I have written, you can check out my Kindle author page, link in the link tree in the description below. Oh, excuse me. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe, check out all the cool links down there. I can't stress it enough. That's it. See you all next time. I'm out.
Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy B3 back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we are looking at The Immortal Hulk, Volume 10 of Hell and Death. Yes, I do love my Immortal Hulk. This is the last issue of the ongoing, or the last trade that covers the ongoing by Al Ewing. But then there are trades after it that collect side issues and stuff, so we will get to those. Anyways, going to give you a quick read-up from the back of the book. The acclaimed epic run reaches its horrific end. The Gamma Monsters are back, converging one by one on New York City. Who can stop them now? Who can save us from the Immortal Hulk? The Avengers will give it their best shot. But last time, they destroyed an entire town while fighting the Hulk. Now they're in the middle of New York, about to take on a very different kind of monster. And it's become personal. In the wake of this earth-shattering confrontation, a shaken Hulk will turn to the one person who always understood him. It's finally time for truths to be told. But will it be Betty Banner who tells them? Or the Red Harpy? And how will they affect the eternal life of the Immortal Hulk? Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Ooh. Collecting Immortal Hulk numbers 46 through 50 by Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, Rui Jose, Bernardo Bravo, and Paul Montes. Rated T14 from Marvel. Yeah, it's a cool book. A lot of people were disappointed in the end of Immortal Hulk, and I was too the first time I read it. I was like, well, that was pretty disappointing. And then I reread it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty dope, actually. And we kind of have our Gamma Flight people doing their thing. We have Joe Fixit in his new Hulk form, which is really cool. He's like a gray Hulk, but with these red veins going across him. So he's like a gray Hulk and a red Hulk. Just absolutely obliterates the UFOs. Like, just fucks them up so hard. It's pretty dope, actually, quite factually. Thor and the Hulk fight, because of course they do. The rest of the Avengers show up. Red Harpy shows up looking absolutely horrific. Just an absolutely horrific creature. I mean, holy shit. And then she and the Hulk, the Joe Fixit Hulk, once again, I maintain, are brawling the Avengers. Alpha Flight shows up. It's a whole thing. So much is going on. It's a big brawl. A huge brawl. Hulk gets freaking dismembered. It's wild. It's actually wild. And then Joe Fixit Hulk and Red Harpy, they smash. Yeah, they smash. Not the normal kind of Hulk smash either. It's pretty rad. And then there's kind of like this deep conversation between Joe Fixit Hulk and Betty Banner. And it kind of goes back and forth, and she's transforming into Red Harpy and back to Banner depending on what she has to say. There's really a lot going on here. Truly. You know, there's a lot of complicated stuff with She-Hulk. I'm trying not to get too specific because I want you all to be able to read it, you know? I don't want... I don't really want to spoil it to the point where you can't read any of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so then the Hulks, you know, they go to the Avengers and to get Reed Richards' help and stuff. We get some more stuff about Bruce's bad dad. And there's this portal that they make that only the Hulk can really go through. Get a lot of dope body horror, some cosmic horror. You know how it is. And then we kind of get that portal. It goes to, you know, hell, effectively. Gamma hell. And then we also see this kind of flashback to the past with these two brothers who seem to be having issues. One of them kills the other. And we kind of keep flashing back to them. And it's like, why are they relevant? Well, we'll see. The Hulks, you know, they end up in hell. And then Joe Fixit in hell is portrayed as a Red Hulk. And then, of course, we have our normal Hulk, right? The big guy or whatever. And he's a Green Hulk. And then we have our newer character, you know, the reporter who has like that gamma vision. Like she can see gamma creatures that others can't. She can see specific gamma stuff. Pretty cool. Actually a really dope character. And then they go to this big fortress. Like the leader has turned into this giant horrific fortress. It's fucked. they fight their way through that, and there's also a lot of psychological stuff in there meant to hurt them. So that doesn't super duper make it easy on them. Like all those who have died because of the Hulk, or even just that Hulk knew that have died, they're all in there, making them feel just absolutely horrible. The poor people, the poor lads. It really is too bad. Anyways, it also seems like some other characters have come back in other characters' bodies, like there's body swapping. There's a lot going on. A little too much. It's a lot to handle. You gotta really know some Hulk history to appreciate it. But even if you don't, it's still pretty damn good. The leader forms this mouth and starts to attach himself to the Hulks so he can like suck them dry. Not in like the fun way, you know? Not in like the the real fun way. But damn. It's just really fucked. So they rescue Bruce, and it turns out they even kind of need to rescue the leader. And then the one below all shows up, who's kind of like the Satan of this. And it turns out the one below all, this is huge, by the way, the one below all is the Hulk of the one above all. The one above all is basically like the Judeo-Christian God of the Marvel Universe. Omnipotent, created every single thing, and whatnot. And it turns out the one above all created Hulks in order to keep a balance. Hulks are meant to destroy everything around them, whether they want to or not. They're kind of meant to suffer in that. And it's pretty wild, because I think everyone expected a big brawl, the Hulks versus the one below all, but it was really more of a philosophical thing. And I think the reason most people felt disappointed upon the first reading was just because that's not what they were expecting. I mean, it's a Hulk story. It's supposed to end in smash, and it didn't. And that's okay that it doesn't end the way Hulk stories normally do. It was really good. And then we find out those two brothers from the past are actually ancestors of the Hulk and the leader, who it turns out are related distantly. Pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild stuff. And they have this connection throughout time and throughout the cosmos. It's very interesting. Everything about this is so interesting. It's a great book. And then Bruce Banner just kind of leaves, and then Al Ewing and Donny Cates swap titles, basically. Get ready for Starship Hulk, you know? But that's it for the Immortal Hulk, Volume 10 of Hell and Death. Yeah, it was a good run, 2018 to 2021. The Immortal Hulk was a fantastic run, and I really enjoyed it. So, thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. I mean, you gotta check out the Immortal Hulk. The art is fantastic, absolutely terrifying. The writing is stellar, truly incredible. A magnificent Hulk book that really makes you think. I really loved it. Fantastic book. So that's it. Thank you all once again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. Hey there, folks. It's your boy B3, back with another kicking a graphic novel review. Today we're doing a little more Immortal Hulk with the Immortal Hulk. Sorry, the Immortal Hulk, Volume 11, Apocrypha. Sorry. Let me go ahead and read you the back of the book. Complete your collection of Al Ewing's incredible saga of the Immortal Hulk. Stephen Strange is dead. All that is left is a charred skeleton. Bruce Banner wants to know why, and he won't stop until he knows the truth. The road to answers will lead to the return of the Defenders. Then, the symbiotic nightmare of absolute carnage and King in Black engulf two very different Hulks. And when Jennifer Walters falls in battle during Empire, she steps through the Green Door and learns the full horror of what it means to be an immortal She-Hulk. Plus, revisit the tortured relationship between Bruce and his father that inspired Immortal Hulk. Rated T for teen from Marvel Comics. Yeah, so it collects Immortal Hulk, The Best Defense, Defenders The Best Defense, Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk, King in Black Immortal Hulk, Immortal She-Hulk number 1, Immortal Hulk number 0, and material from Immortal Hulk Time of Monsters by Al Ewing, Bill Mantlo, Peter David, Simone DeMio, I think I'm saying that right, Joe Bennett, Felipe Andre, Aaron Kindler, John Davis Hunt, Mattia de Ilus, Mike Mignola, hell yeah, Adam Kubert, Bilandro Bravo, Mark Farmer, Dono Sanchez, Almara, Chris O'Halloran, Frank Martin, Eric Algina, Marco Minez, Bob Sharon, and Dan Brown. Sorry for any names that I definitely butchered. But this basically just collects one-shots and tie-ins from Immortal Hulk. Pretty cool, pretty ace, and pretty fun. So, Immortal Hulk is the cosmic body horror Hulk book from Al Ewing. My favorite Hulk run of all time. And we have this cool story about Bruce Banner investigating Stephen Strange's death, which has very modern art kind of intersected with some very vintage art and the Eye of Agamotto and the truth and horror that lies within people. It's very odd. And there's an interlude that I don't completely understand. I don't know if that's from something else. But Bruce Banner has to do a lot of the fighting himself because it's the daytime. And the Hulk's time is at night, as we all know. So, Bruce kind of gets to show off his capabilities here. Very interesting. But the Eye of Agamotto does kind of help awaken the Hulk. And there's this whole mystery of who killed Doctor Strange the whole time, and I am going to spoil it for you. It was Doctor Strange. He killed himself, which I guessed pretty easily, and I think seasoned comic readers will be able to guess it as well. But this is like a Stephen Strange from an alternate future that's trying to stop his future from happening and is willing to sacrifice anything to do it. And there's this big cosmic train that's being manipulated by a giant cosmic undead entity to destroy Earth so that these demons, excuse me, can short souls. There's like a soul stock market in hell, and they owe Mephisto. But Silver Surfer's trying to stop it, and then Doctor Strange is trying to get the Hulk to stop it, and so, hey, there's only one of the main quartet of Defenders missing, and that's Namor, who just happens to be on another planet of people that I think are the original Atlanteans. To be honest, I don't know a lot about the Atlantean mythos in Marvel. I know a lot about it in DC. I don't know as much about Namor, even though I actually read a lot of Namor comics as a kid, but they were like just a bunch of single issues given to me, read all out of sequence and stuff. But I can't remember if the Atlanteans on Earth are descendants of this planet or if this planet is descendants of them. I feel like it makes more sense for the planet to be the original, so I'm just going to say that. Anyway, Hulk eats a dude's face. Pretty crazy stuff, but it almost seems like Namor manipulates something horrific here into happening, and there's a lot of stuff with Mephisto and Galactus, and it's this huge cosmic event, but, nothing too crazy happens, except for at the end, Doctor Strange from the future has to pretty much give his soul to Mephisto. And then there's the Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk tie-in. I actually have this tie-in in another trade that I reviewed forever ago, because I think I've reviewed all of Absolute Carnage, right? I might not have reviewed the Amazing Spider-Man volume that takes place during it, but otherwise I've reviewed all of Absolute Carnage. I know for a fact. I've reviewed all those trades for that. And I had the trade that included this. So I'm just going to touch on it briefly. It's Bruce Banner and Hulk personas talking to the Venom symbiote in his mind, and it shows how he got to New York, because he was not in New York at this point in his book. But it shows him getting there and investigating some stuff to do with General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, because his body was one of the ones dug up. And I think that's because he had the Venom symbiote in the Agent Venom comics. Because he had the Hellfire mark and all that stuff. Remember, all the powers of everyone that was teaming up in that book all went to Red Hulk, I believe. There's a little Spider-Man in this too. You know, that's always fun. So they got to defeat this big Grindel symbiote, Cletus Cassidy Carnage, and so the Venom symbiote during that event attaches to Hulk and Bruce Banner, and this is basically just how the Hulk got to the Absolute Carnage event and what happens between the 2 issues of Absolute Carnage, where he gets the symbiote, because he gets at the end of one issue and then fights with it at the beginning of the next. And then, of course, we have some crazy stuff with some very classic art with Bruce Banner's dad and his insanity and how horribly he treated Bruce and his mother. A horrible, abusive man, and a lot of his past with Bruce before Bruce was the Hulk, and even some after. And you have the Stan Lee Presents Peter David Hulk stuff in here as well, which I'm glad to have collected in this. I think it's important to have it collected in this, and it adds good context. You know, I think it's mostly in here to kind of pad out the trade a little bit, to make it a little longer. But I'm glad it's in here because it actually provides a lot of context for Immortal Hulk. So if you're an Immortal Hulk reader, but you don't know as much about Bruce and his dad, this stuff in here is great for it, because this is the comic that reveals Bruce Banner killed his father during the altercation in the cemetery. He didn't walk away. He killed his father. But, you know, the police knew Brian Banner was a bad guy, and they weren't sad to see him dead, and there wasn't any super obvious evidence that it was foul play, even though it was really self-defense. But still. So, people knowing Brian Banner's history and stuff, the police didn't investigate like they should. But, yeah, Bruce did kill his dad. He kicked him off of him, and his head cracked on his late wife's gravestone that he murdered. And it's pretty horrific imagery, but like you don't feel bad for him. You know? It's pretty wild stuff. And then we have the Immortal She-Hulk one-shot, because She-Hulk appears in Immortal Hulk multiple times. Really helps out at the end. And it's about all the times that Jennifer Walters has died and come back to life. One of them that happens in Empire, we talked about when we reviewed some things from the Empire event. I reviewed the main story in one of the tie-ins, I think, because it was supposed to be important to read before King in Black, but then I read King in Black and I was like, oh, I could have done without Empire, probably. But yeah, it's about her dying and coming back, and she talks to Thor about immortality, and he tells her about killing the immortal being Galactus. There's some stuff with the leader, and she's just struggling with the implications of this. Like, coming back to life is a horrifying thing. Being immortal and unable to die may be bad enough, but your immortality coming from feeling the horrors of death and then coming back from it to a world that might have changed, where things aren't going to be the same for you ever again, it's kind of horrific. Then we get the King in Black Immortal Hulk one-shot, which has beautiful art. Gorgeous, magnificent, top-tier art. It's from after Hulk gets drained a little. I believe this is after he falls out of the Alpha Flight satellite, crashes to Earth, and he's all thin, you know. And I guess this seems like it takes place after he talks with Ben Grimm the Thing, but before he fights the UFOs. So he fights off some of Null's critters, you know, but then we also see him go into, you know, the kind of big Times Square-y toy stores that they have from the holidays, where everything costs like more than quadruple what it should. So he's in the store, and, you know, Joe Fixit is in there, takes care of some symbiotes, and then he just lets Savage Hulk, what they call the Kid, because he basically has the mind of a child, Bruce Banner's child that he didn't get to be as a kid because of his father's abuse, kind of just gets to play with the toys because there's no one there and everyone else is out fighting the symbiotes, and he just kind of lets the Kid Hulk, you know, have his day. But, you know, I really got to give it to Al Ewing, who did the writing for this, and Aaron Cooter, who did the art for it. Magnificent stuff. Frank Martin and Eric Arcinga did the color art on it, and VC Corey Pitt did the lettering. Not that there was really much lettering to do, because there's no real dialogue or anything in this. No monologue bubbles, no narration. Entirely visual, pretty much, except for the "and to all a good night" at the end. Yeah, so that's it. You know, this shows just a little bit of Hulk, what Hulk was doing during King in Black, and then we get Immortal Hulk: Time of Monsters. This is the first Hulk. Super prehistoric Hulk. Very early human. There's this green meteor that's super gamma, and this guy gets sacrificed to it. There may be some queer coding here, but there's nothing explicitly queer here. Too bad. But I'm down for some queer coding. You know? Gotta love it. I did a whole video about the queer coding of Luca and stuff on the second channel. But, you know, this guy that was sacrificed by the village leader was the best friend of the village leader's son, and he knew they were going to run off together to kind of try to go find a better life, because things are just drying up here. There's like no water, no food. But then the guy that was sacrificed comes back as a very cool looking Hulk. Very kind of Doomsday almost. Lots of bony protrusions, big claws. Almost 2099 Hulkish. He's very neat. I really like him. I love a figure of him. But, you know, he comes back in this Hulk form, and he tries to help his people. He tries to dig up water that he knows now is trapped under the ground. But the people kill and eat him, because they're desperate for food. They think he's a beast, gift from the goddess. They kill and eat him. But then his body reforms, right? You know, the Immortal Hulk stuff. So everything that the people ate is ripped out of their bodies, and it kills them, and he reforms. But it doesn't kill his friend, because his friend, after landing the killing blow on the beast, then realizes that it's his friend. And he's like, oh no, I just killed my friend. I'm not going to eat him. I'm sad. I didn't know it was you when I killed you, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of implies that this Hulk kills his friend, because now he realizes, oh, this is not a form meant to help people. It's a form meant to destroy. I'm going to do this for the one below all. And it's a very cool one-shot, and I don't think this Hulk has reappeared yet, ever. Which is very interesting, especially considering how corporate comics don't like to leave anything be. But it was really cool. And I really liked Inuke Lee's Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk variant cover with Grindel Carnage fighting the Red Harpy. Thought that was really cool. But yeah, this is a very good book. If you read Immortal Hulk all the way through, you're definitely going to want to pick up this supplemental. I really enjoyed it. And I highly recommend it. Everything Immortal Hulk, I highly, highly recommend. I am going to be reviewing a little more Immortal Hulk later. I got to do Immortal Hulk Great Power. But then, that's it. I reviewed the first volume of the Omnibus. Don't think I'll be reviewing all of the omnibuses. But I did do the first volume. And I want to do a compilation video of all these Immortal Hulk reviews in one video, and what I'll probably do is tack the omnibus one at the end of that, but the others will be in order of upload, which is also kind of the order you're supposed to read them in. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll be seeing you all next time. Bye for now. Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today's trade is the Immortal Hulk Great Power. Yes, it's part of Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk run. It's just kind of some little one-shotty type things. Just some stuff, just some extras that were outside the main title, collected together so that you could kind of get everything if you're the type that reads trades. These days, I really only collect single issues as like art pieces, and I read trades. That's pretty much how I be doing things these days. But let me read you the back of the book real quick here. The Immortal Hulk stars in Tales to Astonish from some of the most incredible talents in comics. When Bruce Banner wakes up as himself in the dead of night, he thinks he's finally free. But the Hulk is immortal. He has a new alter ego, Peter Parker. Then after a young girl goes missing on a Kansas farm, Banner searches for answers, but this town doesn't take kindly to strangers, especially the big, green, violent kind. When a new gamma-powered villain shows up in a small New Mexico town, Bruce is forced to confront the source of his anger. And it's not what you expect. And Bruce Banner faces a challenge unlike any he's seen before as he enters the Emerald Cinema. Collecting Immortal Hulk Great Power, The Threshing Place, Flatline, and material from Time of Monsters by Tom Taylor, Jeff Lemire, Declan Jarvie, David Vaughn, George Molina, Mike Del Mundo, Kevin Nowlin, Adrino De Benito, Roberto Paggi, David Cruel, and Marco D'Alfonso. I butchered half those names. But many of them are very recognizable names. Very recognizable. Rated T for teen from Marvel Comics. So let's go through these little stories here. Alright. First up is the Tom Taylor one, Great Power. Everybody loves Tom Taylor's work. He does incredible work on like everything. Okay, so Bruce Banner wakes up at night, as it said. He doesn't remember anything. Spider-Man wakes up, doesn't really remember anything. And the Hulk seems to have been transferred into Peter, which I guess is why Peter kind of behaves and thinks like Savage Hulk. They're kind of... Marvel's recently been a little inconsistent with Hulk personas. A lot of people, when they Hulk out... See, like Bruce Banner, the reason the Hulk is a different person than him is because of his own mental illness and trauma. But someone who's healthier and doesn't have dissociative identity disorder should just be themselves as a Hulk. But a lot of them do kind of become rage monsters that talk like cavemen. And for that, they say a lot of people's minds can't handle the power initially. That also makes sense. But it's just kind of inconsistent a lot of the time. And I try to sort it all out in my head. It's like with Jeff Loeb's A-Bomb. At first he was kind of caveman-y and didn't consider himself Rick Jones. But then they retconned it, and he was suddenly articulate, and it was just Rick's mind in the A-Bomb body. And then they were like, oh, my brain and my psyche just had to get used to this big, sudden change. And it's like, that makes sense, but it's just not... Marvel needs to kind of streamline what the Hulk is a little, I think. Which I think Immortal Hulk kind of did perfectly for Bruce Banner. Kind of should have been a swan song, to be honest. Someone said that in a comment. I think it was on the Omnibus video. And I do agree. But that doesn't mean he wouldn't be around in comics. Maybe he could be like a mentor or side character. But as a main character, Immortal Hulk would have been a perfect ending for him. Damn. Anyway, Spider-Man's swinging around all hulked out. Fantastic Four comes to fight him. And this is reminiscent of Spider-Hulk. I don't know if any of you know about Spider-Hulk. Variant Comics, I believe, did a good video on it forever ago, I feel like. When Spider-Man got turned into the Hulk, but they take Spidey and Bruce Banner to this island where, you know, Spider-Man can Hulk out and not hurt anybody, but Bruce also doesn't want to let him be alone. Very nice of him. And this is around the time Loki was trying to be a bit more heroic. And he took the power out of Bruce Banner, the Hulk power out. And he didn't realize that it didn't just disappear, that it got transplanted into Spider-Man. And he was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's very Full Metal Alchemist law of equivalent exchange magic kind of thing, where it's like, oh yeah, magic has to go somewhere. Loki was like, yeah, the rules of magic on Earth, on Midgard here, are different than in Asgard. I forgot. My bad. I'll fix it. Whatnot. And everything... he doesn't. But Bruce and Spider-Man have to kind of work it out together. But it does work out. And we find out that the Hulk's minds, since they're all split up, and the Hulk wasn't active, Bruce Banner was the one active, when Doctor Strange cast his spell, making the world forget who Spider-Man was, the Hulk still remembered. You might have actually seen that page floating around online. I've seen it many times on comic Twitter, just a page of the Hulk knowing who Spider-Man was. But Bruce not. That was because of Doctor Strange's spell, which was broken by Peter in Spider Island, so people can relearn his identity. But I digress. I think I've reviewed Spider Island. Have I? Honest to God, I don't remember. Wow. Anyway, the Hulk leaves. Status quo returns to normal. Everything's fine. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we have the Threshing Place, which is good, even though it has some predictable parts. I really like the art. I like Bruce being able to see the Hulk in every reflection. I thought that was cool whenever it's been done. But a little girl is missing, and there's a monster running around causing havoc. Now, if you've spent any time in monster media or in comic books, and spoilers for those who haven't caught on, you know damn well the little girl's the monster, right? You didn't have to be told that. But her dad beats the shit out of Bruce Banner because he's a stranger snooping around. And Bruce found one of her hair clips as a clue, and the dad saw him with it. You know, thought he was the killer. Understandable. That's understandable. Sorry, Bruce. There's also a beautifully horrific Hulk transformation in this. It's a single panel, full page, no text, just a beautiful mass of gore and color. It's the most insane Hulk transformation I've ever seen, and that's holding it up to every single other Hulk transformation in Immortal Hulk. I would have it as a poster on my wall. Magnificent art. I don't want to show it to you here. I want you to experience it when you turn the page in the comic. That's one of the reasons I don't show images of everything that's happening. I want people to experience these comics themselves. Yeah, there's spoilers in these reviews, but it's never the same as experiencing it yourself, you know? Anyways, looks like Hulk kills a few humans in this, and this is Devil Hulk, not Savage Hulk. Savage Hulk doesn't intentionally kill human beings, but Devil Hulk does. And there's also, just some of the horror visuals in this are incredible. And when Hulk finds the monster, which is the little girl, he sucks the gamma out of her, which is something that used to be what Red Hulk did, and now Bruce Banner can do it too. So interesting the way it's done. Like these weird, freakish holes open up on the Hulk's body, and it sucks the flesh off of the monster until it reveals the little girl inside, and all the flesh goes into the Hulk. Incredible idea. So cool. As I said, it's easy to figure out that the little girl is the effing monster. But the story is good. It's got a lot of emotion, you know. Turns out the girl was being experimented on intentionally by people. And the Hulk does some... Devil Hulk slaughters all these gamma scientists for experimenting on a little girl. It's insane. But she and her father have to now kind of go into hiding because the government's just going to try to find her. And Bruce goes on his way. But the Threshing Place, amazing story. You have to read it for yourself, even if it's just for the beautiful visuals. Magnificent. Then we go to Flatline. Also pretty good. You know, Bruce Banner, the Hulk is intentionally leaving him in the middle of the desert when he wakes up. To fuck with him. So he has to leave spare clothes at work. He's a dishwasher that gets paid under the table. And then one of his old professors shows up. Turns out she's a gamma mutate trying to help him. It's easy to guess she's a gamma mutate. And I guessed a few other things that were foreshadowed very well. Not as obvious as the threshing place girl was the monster thing, but, you know. And her gamma mutate powers were very cool. It was almost more like psychic abilities. Very, very interesting. It's still smashy, but smash with brain, not with body. And we get to see the below place, the gamma hell. And it's very interesting because whenever they show it to us, it's like upside down. It's so cool. Very cool the way this is done. And it's drawn beautifully. I mean, she rips the Hulk apart with her mind powers and stuff. And the title will tell you how it ends. Very interesting book. Really enjoyed Flatline. Then we got a little more from Time of Monsters. Some of the Time of Monsters stuff is in the last Immortal Hulk thing we reviewed. Volume 11 or whatever. And then some of it's in this. So he goes to this theater being run by the Scarecrow. This is the Marvel Scarecrow, who has hypnotic powers, and fear is like sustenance to him. DC's Scarecrow is better, but this Scarecrow actually is still pretty interesting. They should change him up visually, I think, to make him look a bit different than Jonathan Crane, you know? But he has all these people in this movie theater, and every one of them sees their greatest fear on the screen, and then he feeds on that fear. He tries that on the Hulk. Doesn't go as well for him. He ends up getting things turned around on him, and it implies the Hulk kills him. Like the Hulk sets him on fire and is holding a pitchfork like he's going to stab him. But the thing is, it doesn't show the Hulk kill him so that they can bring Scarecrow back whenever they want. But the thing about Marvel Scarecrow is he's probably a character they'd be willing to kill and leave dead. But whatever. Like, who even cares? Anyway, that is the Immortal Hulk. Great power. This is probably the last Immortal Hulk. I've reviewed all the single trades, the first omnibus trade, and then the trades that collect the little like side issues, single issues, tie-ins and stuff, you know. I reviewed all of it. Very fun, and I am going to make a big compilation video of all of it as well. I think that'll be nice. My tripod is broken right now, so I'm trying to focus on videos like these where I don't really need my tripod. Why don't you just get a new one? I will. I have a lot going on, all right? I have a job where I'm trying to get promoted to full-time. I should be promoted around summer. I am trying to move in October. I'm trying to get a new vehicle, and I'm running my own business on top of that. I'm a very busy guy, all right? So even if I got a tripod, I probably wouldn't be using it as much as I'd like. But these are easy because I can just sit here and wax poetic about them after I read them. And I do like to spend my free time reading comics. It's a nice little escape. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll be seeing you all next time. Bye for now. Hello there, YouTube. It's me, your boy, B3, back on another kicking graphic novel review. Today we're actually looking at an omnibus. It is the Immortal Hulk Omnibus, Volume 1. Yes, the Immortal Hulk is my favorite Hulk run, and I think pretty much anyone would agree it's one of the best Hulk runs. Let me give you a quick read-up of the back of the book here. Horror has a name. You'd never notice the man. He doesn't like to be noticed. He's quiet, calm, never complains. If someone were to walk up and shoot him in the head, all he'd do is die. Until night falls, and someone else gets up again. The man's name is Banner. The horror is the Immortal Hulk. and it collects Avengers 684 and the Immortal Hulk 1 through 15. Yeah, so this Omnibus edition actually has the Avengers issues where the Hulk comes back to life. Or it has one of them. That's actually going to be a complaint in a bit. But it seems to be bound pretty sturdy. Lots of omnibus books, omnibuses. They can have binding issues. This one doesn't seem to. And I'm not going to get super specific on the Immortal Hulk story because I already reviewed every volume of the normal Immortal Hulk trade releases. This version isn't for me. I actually picked up this beautiful book for my partner. He's a big horror guy. He really likes classic comic characters like the Hulk. And this book is so up his alley, but he refuses to try it, so I'm going to make him try it by giving him an omnibus. I got it for like $35, which I think was a pretty good deal, especially with as good as this book is. And, you know, it's got No Surrender, Chapter 10 from Avengers, and then Immortal Hulk Chapters 1 through 15, or, you know, issues, whatever. Who cares? But it's also got this kind of read up on the front, and it says you might want to read Civil War II and World War Hulk. I believe I have reviewed both of those books. And then the Avengers book, you know, talks about the Green Door and kind of gives recaps of Bruce Banner's individual deaths. And how he keeps coming back to life even though he really doesn't want to. He just wants to stay dead. He just wants to rest. He doesn't want to destroy. But oh well. Anyways, the Grandmaster and the Challenger are playing a game. You know the Grandmaster loves his games. That's kind of how he spins his immortality as an Elder of the Universe. And there's an Avengers team, and the Grandmaster's daughter is kind of infiltrating it, but she doesn't want to infiltrate it anymore. There's this thing in their vault that he has to get for them. And, you know, his rival brings the Hulk back to life, the Challenger. And, you know, the Avengers got to fight the Hulk. That's really it. It's Avengers fighting the Hulk. And this version of the Hulk is, oh, he's ready to go. He's not talking or anything. He's just smashing. And he takes out everyone that even gets, like, close to him. Just destroys them. Captain Glory, Mentacle, just absolutely ruins them. It's just tearing through Avengers. I haven't read this Avengers run, but it actually looks kind of neat. And there was a Red Hulk, a new Red Hulk, who can't really use his powers because it could make him have like a heart attack or something. So then he gets like this partial Iron Patriot armor and becomes the Iron Hulk, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Marvel and DC both, but especially Marvel, are really obsessed with combining characters right now. Like in Spider-Verse and Venomverse, you have like Venomized or Spider characters of everybody, but then they also do it with just tons of other characters like Ghost Rider versions of people and blah blah blah. That's really big right now. I feel like it's a big trend that people don't talk about a lot, but combining characters is a big thing. So Red Hulk and Iron Patriot armor. This is not Ross Red Hulk, by the way, but I will be reviewing that Jeff Loeb Hulk run very soon. I've actually been rereading it to prep for the reviews. And it kind of just cuts it off. You don't get to see the battle where the Hulk destroys him. I do know what happens. He actually sucks the radiation out of him, which unturns him into the Red Hulk. So he's not Red Hulk anymore. I think they could have thrown in one more issue of Avengers. I mean, they left us on a cliffhanger of the Hulk fighting Iron Hulk. And then they just throw you into Immortal Hulk. And I think that's because they want you to buy the Avengers book. But, you know, this is an omnibus. Come on, it's an omnibus. Give it to us. But, yeah, then we get into Immortal Hulk, which is pretty good. It starts off really dark, and it's going to be really dark the whole way through. This is not like an action-adventure book. This is a cosmic body horror book. It's a dark, freakish book. Not a Hulk book for kids at all. There's going to be gore. There's going to be... It's... murder. Some heavy stuff in here. It starts off with like the death of a child, like the murder of a child is how this book begins, you know?
And then we get this new version of the Hulk, the Immortal Hulk, which, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. I was gonna say something about that specifically, but that does kind of spoil something that I don't believe is revealed in this specific omnibus. So I am gonna save that for Volume 2 if I ever get around to Volume 2 of the omnibus. Because once again, this is a gift for somebody. I'm just getting a video out of it before I give it to him. But yeah, the Immortal Hulk is cool. He's a Hulk with a reason, so he's not Savage Hulk. He's a different Hulk than Savage Hulk, and you'll see lots of different Bruce Banner personalities throughout this run. He's a very interesting Hulk. He can smell lies, which I think is something that comes before this. I don't think that's a new thing. I just think it's something that hasn't been touched on in a long time. He can like smell lies, and he's kind of cruel, and he only comes out at night. So Bruce Banner is Bruce Banner during the day. He turns into the Hulk at night. It's kind of a compromise they have. It harkens back to the original Hulk that Stan Lee and them made. That Hulk, he just turned into the Hulk at night, kind of Wolfman style. That whole book was very Universal Monsters. And this book has a lot of references to classic monster media as well, Universal and otherwise. But this Hulk, you know, he only comes out at night. So if Bruce Banner like dies in the middle of the day, his corpse will just be a corpse until nighttime when he comes back to life. But this Hulk is cruel. He will like shatter every bone in someone's body. He will bury an immortal person under rubble, so they have to just exist under rubble for an eternity. And we get new characters. Lots of new characters. There's a fun little story with different points of view from people that watched a Hulk battle. It's very interesting. Once again, I'm not going to get too specific going forward because I did already get much more specific on this story in the other videos. And if you watch those, you probably don't want to hear me do that. But, you know, we get the return of Sasquatch, who's not really Sasquatch. We get the return of Brian Banner, Bruce's crazy dad. The Avengers have a pretty insane battle with Hulk that does not end well. Hulk kind of goes on a rampage in this facility of sorts. There's really a lot going on. We get a new Red Hulk. We get the best version of Absorbing Man we've ever gotten. He starts to kind of really figure out the potential of his powers. He's also kind of a good guy in this book, more or less. He's getting a redemption arc. He and Titania, which is really cool. I'm really loving their redemption with Gamma Flight and everything, which is like Alpha Flight, but instead of protecting Canada, they protect the world from gamma threats, like the Hulk. The Hulk goes to hell, which is a pretty insane part of this book, and a real thing that happens. There's a specific hell for gamma people, which is wild. And we see like Red Hulk and A-Bomb down there. Really wild. We get some stuff about General Ross's death and Betty Ross being alive. We get some stuff about Doc Samson. And it's a really magnificent story with really magnificent art. There's, of course, a cover gallery in the back. And once again, I don't want to get too into the specifics of that, but Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk run is itself immortal. It's a fantastic book that'll go down in history as one of the best horror comics of all time, and one of the best Hulk comics of all time, one of the best monster comics of all time. I could honestly keep going. It's truly an incredible piece of art, and I think there's one gigantic omnibus that has like all of it. That's like a fancy hardcover. That's like $130 something. Maybe it doesn't have all of it. I'm not super sure because I saw the price point and I didn't investigate any further. I was like, blah, blah, blah. $35 for the volume 1 omnibus will do. And I think they were releasing these omnibuses before even the regular trades were finished. Actually, I think that's how popular this book was. They were already pumping out the omnibuses before the regular trades were finished up. But it's a great book. I think it's 50 issues solid for the entire Immortal Hulk run. But if you love monster comics, horror comics, Hulk comics, Marvel comics, if you like any of that, the Immortal Hulk is the book for you. And I do recommend the omnibuses. I think they're pretty cost effective.
and you just get a nice bound copy. Plus, it has that Avengers issue, which is not in Volume 1 of the Immortal Hulk. I'll have you know, because I have Volume 1 of the Immortal Hulk, and it's not in there. And it's worth it for that, too. Plus, it'll help you get caught up faster. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm mostly over my illness, but I do have a headache. Thank you all very much for your support once again, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.
Hello YouTube, it is your boy, B3, back with another kicking comic book review. Today's trade is a collection of Absolute Carnage stuff, because I did say I would continue Absolute Carnage. It is Absolute Carnage, the Immortal Hulk, and Other Tales. So yeah, this is just a bunch of smaller Absolute Carnage tie-ins that couldn't really justify their own trade. Quick read up at the back of the book. The late Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross was once the Red Hulk and briefly bonded to the Venom symbiote. Now, Ross's corpse has been unearthed, though why and by whom remains unclear. But with Ross's gamma-infused body possibly in nefarious hands, Bruce Banner intends to find out. During its first visit to New York City, the same symbiote briefly bonded to a human host that wasn't Peter Parker or Eddie Brock. Now, years later, this mystery man will meet his destiny at the hands of Carnage. And former Ghost writer Alejandra Jones is next on the Lethal Killer's hit list. Danny Ketch must ride again, but can he keep her out of Carnage's clutches? Collecting Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk, Absolute Carnage Symbiote Spider-Man, and Absolute Carnage Symbiote of Vengeance by Al Ewing, Peter David, Ed Brisson, Felipe Andrade, Francesco Mobili, Juan Ferrergi, I'm so sorry, Chris O'Halloran, a Gus Johnson video just started playing for no reason. Bet you'd rather be watching that. Java Tantaguila. These are all not only are these names I'm not used to reading, but they're also very small on my screen here. Rain Burrito and Dono Sanchez Almara. Rated T for T from Morville. That's right, it's from Morville. So my original plan was kind of to review this after I reviewed the first 9 volumes of Immortal Hulk, which is all the volumes currently out at the time of recording this. But that kind of didn't happen. So here we are. The first one in here is the Immortal Hulk issue, and a lot of it is Bruce Banner talking to the Venom symbiote, because the Venom symbiote did bond with the Immortal Hulk in Absolute Carnage. If you remember that, we did review Absolute Carnage and a couple tie-ins already, so definitely check those out. They should be on the comic review playlist. You could probably scroll down and find them also if you're watching this when it's new. Also see a bit of him talking to Betty and wondering about Ross's stuff, because Betty is a new Red She-Hulk that's called Harpy, which is really cool. And a lot of crazy stuff goes down. We get to see not only Bruce talking to Venom, but also other Hulks. A little Spider-Man action. We see him talk to Bruce Banner. A lot went down in Absolute Carnage. And it's always nice to see the Devil Hulk, who might be my favorite Hulk. I'm not going to lie. He's really great. And we also get a couple pages from the comic where the symbiote, before it ever became Venom, attached itself to a reporter who I believe was actually on vacation, maybe. And it took him to Peter Parker's apartment. It just used him to swing to Peter Parker's apartment, pretty much, so they could get back in there. And then it's kind of about what happened to him after that. He's in a parole hearing, and it turns out he kind of fucked with the White Rabbit, and his son died, and then he tried to kill the White Rabbit. Lots of crazy stuff, but then he had spent a lot of time in prison. Him, No, he wasn't a reporter. He was a judge. I'm sorry. He was a judge. Not a reporter. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, and then eventually Carnage comes for the cortex that's in his spine, and you can figure out what happens from there. We also get the story of our old Ghost Rider. I believe she wore the symbiote during the time of Agent Venom. Like, she, Red Hulk, Venom, and maybe X-23 all teamed up to do something, and they all got hell marked, I believe. Pretty wild. It's been a while since I reviewed that book. But, she fights Carnage, and another Ghost Rider goes to aid her, and we get to see some of Johnny and what he's doing in hell since he replaced Mephisto, which is pretty cool, honestly. And we also got to see, like, the Spirit of Vengeance Carnage, which of course was very, very welcome. But we are down a Ghost Rider. Won't tell you which one, but we are down a Ghost Rider. Sadly. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not much. It's like 3 issues, which really isn't even enough for a trade, but, I think it worked out. So, final thoughts on this little book here. I mean, it's kind of whatever. These are kind of the whatever tie-ins that just kind of exist to get an extra buck for Marvel, not gonna lie. None of them are necessary reads. None of them are necessary reads. I thought the one about the judge was actually really good, but it's not necessary, It doesn't, like, you're not missing anything if you don't read it. Same with the Immortal Hulk one, because that's basically, you basically only want to read the Immortal Hulk one if you're reading Immortal Hulk and Absolute Carnage. If you're just reading one or the other, you don't really need to read it. But if you're reading both, I would for sure give it a go. But only if you're reading both do I feel like it's probably worth it. And then the Spirit of Vengeance one, I don't actually think it has anything to do with the current Ghost Rider book. Because isn't the current Ghost Rider book technically not even a Spirit of Vengeance? Isn't it like his serial killer uncle or something that gives him his powers? I don't know. I want to read his complete collection. So I guess he's not. He's in the Avengers. He's in the current Avengers team, I'm pretty sure. I'm not very experienced with him, as you can very obviously tell. I'm not a big Ghost Rider guy. I usually don't read the more magical books. And I usually don't read anti-hero books either, but sometimes, Sometimes, if they're a monster book, definitely. But yeah, it's just not super necessary, It's not super necessary. If your budget's tight and you want to read Absolute Carnage, you can pass on this. Definitely read the Venom books that tie in and the whole Donny Cates run, or you won't understand Absolute Carnage anyways. Definitely read the Scream one, not because of its relevance to Absolute Carnage, because it doesn't have that much of a relevance to the main event. You can understand the main event without the Scream miniseries, but Scream becomes very relevant later on. Marvel's kind of starting to give her some attention. She gets kind of her own book, which I already reviewed, actually. And then she goes on to be in, like, King in Black and more Carnage stuff. So you do want to read the Scream one. Probably want to read the Miles Morales one, too, and we'll see about the others. I'll review the Miles Morales one soon also. I also have that one. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all those cool links you see down there in the description below, and all our other links can be found within the link tree. I'd also like to go ahead and promote my upcoming book, All Dinosaurs Go to Hell. It's a story about a dinosaur in hell. That's what it's about. Dinosaurs in hell. It'll be pretty hardcore. Very metal. But that's it. Thank you all once again. It'll be on Kindle eBooks, which is also a place where you can get, this Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk book. But of course, if you have a local comic shop, try there first. So that's it. Thank you all once again. See y'all next time.